Welcome back again to Joe Stunner Boxing. So, look, Teofimo Lopez beats Jamaine Ortiz on a unanimous decision. The scores were 2 lots of 115, 113 and 1 lot of 117, 111. Now, I think this is a controversial decision because I think as negative and as boring as Ortiz was, he won this fight. I had him 115, 113 up. And you can't say it's a robbery, but I just thought Ortiz pinched this fight, and pinch is the operative word because it was a boring fight. Ortiz's tactics were essentially move. I mean, he was running a lot of the time, but he was counterpunching whenever Lopez came into range. And whenever Lopez would back off, Ortiz would go forward straight away and put it on him, try to put it on him. And I can understand fully why the crowd were booing from an early stage of the fight. I can understand why Lopez was visibly, from about the fourth round onwards, frustrated. But he wasn't able to do anything with Jamaine Ortiz. He walked after him. There was no real trap set in. He wasn't cutting the ring off particularly well. And yeah, I repeat, Ortiz was running a lot of the time. But when he wasn't running, he was throwing a lot of, well, maybe not a lot, but he was pot shotting, he was countering. Occasionally he'd get in close and swap punches. And he was, sometimes having the last word. Yeah, the power and I suppose the strength was with Lopez. But I just thought he got essentially outboxed in the ugliest of manners. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, I don't care about this because Ortiz was so negative. Who cares? Who won this fight? It was so boring. Yeah, Lopez was the one coming forward. Give it to him. But it's got to be effective pressure. And Lopez just wasn't, to me, in the majority of the rounds, he wasn't doing that. I had it 115, 113, which is close, 7 rounds to 5. But I thought Ortiz won this fight. Now, Ortiz is a southpaw, and he was trying to fight that constant, southpaw counterpunch fight. Whereas Lopez, as we saw with Kambosos, was just following him, was just running after him, and he wasn't as cavalier as he was against Kambosos, and he was never at any point hurt, but neither was Ortiz. There was a clash of heads in the 7th round. And Ortiz had a cut over his, let me see if I can remember which eye it was. I think it was the right eye, I think. I probably got that wrong. It's 50-50, but I might have that wrong. It was the left eye, I think. No, yeah, it was the left eye. It was the left eye, yeah. There was just a clash of heads. And that kind of took him out of his rhythm because after 6 rounds, I had Jamaine Ortiz 4-2 up. And then I gave the 6th and 7th to Lopez. And then Ortiz came back into it. Look, this was an ugly, boring fight. But I really think the wrong guy got the decision, especially a unanimous decision. I mean, a split would have been pushing it, but, a draw maybe, yeah, It is hard to give a damn about this fight because it was so dull. But Ortiz now, I mean, he slips to 17 wins, two defeats and 1 draw. And 2 fights ago, he fought Lomachenko and lost on points, who, of course, Lopez beat. So he's lost 2 of his last 3, but that's to very high standard of opposition. This was for the WBO super lightweight title, which Lopez won off Josh Taylor. But Lopez, there's just something about him. If he's got a guy who's going to fiddle you around, mess you around, like the Sandor Martin fight, which Ortiz had obviously watched, but Martin wasn't running nearly as much. I mean, I thought Martin beat Lopez, and I think Ortiz beat Lopez. But if you go forward and you look menacing and you throw punches, even if they're missing, then you're going to get a decision, apparently. I mean, this was over in Vegas. They like aggression. Doesn't matter whether anything's landing as long as you're being aggressive. And I suppose you could say, well, Jamaine Ortiz was never going to win with those tactics, not in Vegas, and probably not in any part of the States. But No, I didn't agree with the decision at all. And I think Lopez is really still showing he shows a lack of imagination, a lack of ability to cut off the ring. He shows frustration, visible frustration, although in this fight, I don't blame him. No, I just wasn't impressed with Lopez at all. Although he had a guy in front of him who was just messing him around, but pinching rounds, pinching them. Not necessarily winning them, but pinching them. Anyway, this is one to forget. But have a look at it if you haven't seen it already. And if you have seen it, what did you think of it? Comments below, as always. I won't be watching this one again. But Lopez now, welterweight, super lightweight, excuse me. I'd love to see him in with Subriel Mateus. Cool, that would be a great fight. Wouldn't that be a great fight? As for Ortiz, he won't be invited back, not with tactics like that, not with stinking the place out like that. But again, I repeat, I thought he won this fight. So you tell me what you think. Comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, of course, as always. And hit the like button if you could as well. Catch you later. Bye for now.